Did you know, according to this chart, just 60 years ago, the average woman in America was having 4 kids. You know what it is today? 1.7. Why is that? What changed? We're going to talk about it, but I want to say something to you. There's 2 people they talk about, DINKs and DWICs. DINKs are dual income families with no kids. DWICs are the brave ones, dual income with kids. Who do you think makes more money? DINKs, no kids, we make money together, but no kids. Husband and wife, we make money together with kids. Who do you think makes more money? According to this chart, DINKs make $138,000 a year, and those who are willing to have kids make $9,000 less. We're going to talk about that today. If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into it. So watch this. When we studied these numbers of dual incomes in America, I wanted to find out, when did we all start working together, husband and wife, and what different patterns do we notice? Here's a chart showing you how America has become a nation of dual income working couples. Just in the early to mid 60s, only 47% of folks in America were both spouses working. That 47% is now 66%, meaning both husband and wife are now working, making money. In 1965, 38% of husbands were only working, meaning only the husband working, wife stays home, she's a homemaker. You know what that number is today? 21%. We went from 38% to 21%. And do you know what percentage of Americans worked who were only like the wife working? Husband now stayed home. I have a friend that is a stay-home husband. I said, what do you do? His wife's a lawyer. She works, he stays home. And I'm getting more of these stories today. You know, in 1965, that number was roughly 2%. It's 7% climbing to 10%. Weird numbers. How do we get here? Now, one of the things, if we look at data, we're like, hey, when did things start getting very expensive? Look at this chart here. This is CPI historical data from 1913 to 2022. You notice how from 1913 to around 1971, there's not a dramatic growth that takes place. What happens after 1972? Spike. Look at that acceleration of inflation. Why? 1972, we went off the gold standard. What happened when we got off the gold standard? Print as much money as you want. And when you print as much money as you want, what happens to inflation? Everything goes up. It used to be this money is backed by the gold. Then it went from this money is backed by America. Trust me, we're going to be okay. Keep printing, keep printing, keep printing. That caused prices to go up, forced both husband and wife to start working. So the next one's kind of tricky, because if you look at this, when you look at this chart, and it starts from the 60s, there's something happened in that era as well. A lady named Betty Friedan wrote a book called The Feminine Mystique. This book sparked the second wave of feminism. And by the way, the whole book was about the following. Here's what she talked about in this book. It described the societal assumption that women could find fulfillment through housework, marriage, sexual passivity, and child rearing alone, raising children. So women are now, hey, I can do what you do. I'm going to go to college and I'm going to go get a degree. It used to be 75% men, 25% women going to college. Then it became 50-50. You know, in our workforce today, do we have more male men working, or do you think we have more female working? We have more women in our workforce today than men. Do you think that's a good thing? This concept is like, we don't need men. You don't need the sex. You don't need the this. Y'all can, what about raising kids? There's more things you need to be fulfilled for. Let's go beat these men. And men are the enemy. Oh, why am I going to have kids and get married? I'm going to go pursue my career. That's more important. And then all of a sudden, I'm 65 years old, no kids, no husband, by myself. Shit, I wish I had something to look forward to. Man, men no longer flirt with me like they used to in my 20s and 30s. Man, what am I going to do now? I wish I had some grandkids. I'm jealous of Mary. She's always with her 6 grandkids. She's always with her daughter going shopping in places. I wish kids looked after me. I wish somebody was doing something after me. Nobody sold that dream. The dream was, men were the enemy. You can do what they're doing. Get after it. All right, I'm going to go compete with them. Dual income with no kids. You know, I just got a guy, younger guy in his 20s, early 20s, ask me a question on Minnect. Hey, I met this girl through, dating app, and what do you think? I don't know a lot about her background. Whatever she tells me, I have to believe, and body count and all. He's concerned. He's asked me this question on Minnect. You know how often I get questions like that? The challenge with what happened the last 40 years is the following, 35 years or so. This chart shows how couples used to meet in 1995. If you look at this chart, you'll notice in 1995, it was 2% at a time. Today, it's what? 39%. It used to be the number one way couples met was through friends, 33%. Now it's 20%, okay? Bar and restaurant went up from 19 to 27%. Meeting at work went down from 19 to 11. School and college went down from 19 to 9. And through family, went from 15 to 7%. By the way, watch this. If you meet through work and you've been both working there for a few years, guess what you know? Coworkers know the history of both. At least you have. So what do you know about it? What do you know about them, right? If you meet through family, there's history. If you meet through friends, there's history. If you meet through any of this stuff, there's history. But if you meet online, what's the history? Nothing. Let me give you more reasons why Americans don't want to have kids. When you look at this chart here, number one, 56% just don't want to do it. They don't want to. They don't want to have kids. What do you want to do? I don't want to have kids. 19% is medical reason. 17% is financial. 15% no partner. Then you got age, state of the world, climate change environment, partner doesn't want to have kids, 2%. Another chart that's mind-boggling. The blue represents households consisting of an employed husband and a non-working wife. She stays home. Red is dual household. From 1980 to today. 1980, 6 million. Today, 12 million. Only the husband working, 1980, 11 plus million. Today, 6 million. So you're watching this. You're part of different camps. You may say, screw you. I don't want to have kids. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Don't have kids. But you got there for a reason. Why don't you want to have kids? Who sold you on the idea? Because I think a part of it, like we're having a conversation here saying, well, why don't you do something about it and go in on all this other stuff? I think we're here because of one of three reasons. One is you. But what can you do about it? 20% of people will find a way to make the money and still have the kids and the family anyway. They're doers, okay? The other part is culture. Culturally, we're here. It's kind of like, it's for selfish. It's for me. Phone. What is it with me? I don't need to have all this up. It's all about looking good and all this stuff. Why would I have kids? Ashley is a Chelsea handler, whatever her name is. Hey, I'm this much. I just had a drink. I just did this. I just played with myself. I just did that. I can have an 18-year-old that just left my house. You want me to be married and have kids? Hell no, right? Oh my God, that's so awesome. She's my hero, right? Okay, that's culture. And the third one is culturally, social media, who we create as a hero makes younger kids want to be that. Who we create as hero makes young men want to be that. That's the hero, right? But at the end of the day, what can you do about it? And what can we do about it politically with policies? Some of these policies we have is forcing both husband and wife to have to work. We have to address inflation. We have to address if you can't afford to buy something, don't. We have to address you can't afford to buy $1 million house, don't do it. Buy that $600,000 house. Find a way to make it work. Build equity, then go there. Instead of buying a $1,600 car payment, don't. Get a $720 car payment. Anything that you can find a way to save, think long term. This is the climate. You can't sit there and bitch and complain about it. You can first address you. Let's address culture and debate it. And let's later on either vote for the right people that are willing to fight for this. Get involved in politics later on yourself so you can make a direct impact. Socially, economically, long term. Because somebody may be watching this, they're 22 years old, they may say, you know what? I'm going to consider running for politics later on. Good. But first go address yourself. Culturally, start screaming off the top of your lungs. And then later on, go make a direct impact through politics. If you got value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, we did another video titled Childless Woman. If you've never seen it, I think you'll like it. Take care, everybody. Bye.